Hello everyone and welcome. The Euros have now begun. We are going to the fan zone in Newcastle tomorrow to watch England take on Serbia. And I just want to start by saying that even though we have international football on and I want to see A, us do well, and I want to see B, the Newcastle players do well, I'm still somebody that is a club football guy over international football. For me, we could lose the quarter-final or semi-final, even lose the final again in the worst case scenario if it was going to be a bit of a depressing time when it happens. But this is what I care about, you know. I wake up the next day and I just know straight away that I'm going to be talking about Newcastle, I'm going to be thinking about Newcastle, and I want Newcastle to do well. And if I had to choose now, I would pick Newcastle to win a Carabao Cup. Any trophy, I would pick us to win over England winning anything. I'm club football every single day of the week, and it's just something that I stand by. And it's something that I think a lot of you guys stand by as well. And of course, we're here today to talk about more Newcastle United transfer news. And I want to start things off on quite a sad note, unfortunately. Now, I had a chance over the last couple of days actually I logged onto Twitter and I've actually seen this post. So unfortunately, it's been an announcement that Newcastle United content creator, or in this case somebody that posts his blog is called Ed Harrison. So he's been posting on the Newcastle United web since 2007, I believe. So 17 years he's been on there just posting articles, just posting his thoughts on the football club. And it's unfortunate that it's now been confirmed by his son that Ed has passed away over the past couple of days. So I want to come out with this video now just to make sure that anyone that hasn't had a chance to see this post yet is able to do so. 17 years he's been on our posting, so I've got a feeling a lot of you probably will know who he is. A lot of you would have had a chance to read his articles over the years, and it's quite a sweet note that his final article was actually on last season's player this season, that being Anthony Gordon. So of course, when he would have started back in 2007, God knows what negative posts Ed would have been putting out there. So to kind of see how things have been now since the takeover, well, it would have been nice knowing that obviously Ed had the chance to post quite nice things about the club, and obviously for Eddie would have enjoyed his time supporting Newcastle as well, especially over the past couple of years. So I just wanted to come out now and obviously just put out a little message, condolences to his son, condolences to his family at this time, and I want to make it clear for you guys as well that this has happened. I'm going to put the actual article down in the pinned comments so you guys can go in there and make your own comments. I kind of don't want you to comment about that on my video due to the fact that obviously his family might not see that. So if you can go down with the pinned comment and basically leave your thoughts there, and his family will say it. But I just wanted to say one final time, rest in peace, Ed. It is so sorry to hear that. But yeah, we've got plenty of news to get into today, so let's start things off now. Let's start off with the exciting news that Newcastle are now well and truly in the race alongside Chelsea and Bayern Munich to bring in Mikel Olise, who has a £60 million release clause in his contract, where of course Newcastle are trying to buy him for less than that, hence why the other teams are also in there. But he is available now for £60 million if there's going to be a massive transfer struggle. Newcastle need to bring that player in. You got somebody there who, I mean, let's be fair, you're putting him in the front three of Gordon, Isak and Olise. Oh my God, is all I'm saying. I'm telling you now, that front three, no bias, is winning us silverware. Ridiculous quality. And with the midfield trio of Bruno, Tonali, Jordan in behind, my God, that is a serious team. And Olise straight away is by far most exciting transfer target so far. I said this last week, as bad as the news was, like a day afterwards, I said this last week, if you're able to bring in the likes of James Trafford, bring in Lloyd Kelly, it allows Newcastle to spend on a big key target. And in this case, Olise is that potential target we could bring in. Now, in terms of news, I know I didn't have a chance to speak about it yesterday because I didn't record a video. But most of the news regarding Olise came out yesterday. At the minute, it's a bit of a standstill. But I would still argue, despite the competition he has, it is actually positive news for Newcastle, because it now confirms to us as fans that we have that money there. We wouldn't be going in for Olise now if we didn't have 50, 60 million pounds that is available there to spend now before we even start to sell. The fact that we are now in that race before we even saw anything tells me straight away that there is kitty in that bank. We have some money, because otherwise we wouldn't be in for Olise. So before we saw anything, we do have money there. And it may give you the impression on social media that we don't have any money, which is not the case. We'll put bids in for James Trafford around £15 million mark. This Olise deal That's around a £50 million mark so far. So Newcastle, before we sell, we have money now, because otherwise we would not be going in for Olise. So that is a good point to take away from that. And on top of that as well, Olise is a top player. We know he's a top player, and that for me is almost a dream sign of this window. We can bring him in. I'm telling you now, we've got a ridiculous team. It's just whether he wants to join us, which, I mean, I wouldn't completely rule it out. Chelsea, obviously that's a tricky one, because one, I'm sick to death of Chelsea. And on top of that, Chelsea's also a London team as well. Palace is not that far from Chelsea. So again, in a similar case to Tosin Adebayo when he went from Fulham to Chelsea, at least he probably wouldn't have to move house if he went to Chelsea. So in his case, if he wants to look after his family, if he wants an opportunity like that, it probably is a smart move for him. But then I remember looking at my comment section from the last Olise video. I remember Jordy Josh, for example, when the replies put, well, Adam, he'd be going in an attack alongside 6 different other players. You've got Mudryk, Sterling, and that's before you even look at the likes of the start 11. So they've got so much depth. Chelsea, you just will get lost in the shuffle. Whereas Newcastle, you know, he's a guaranteed starting player on the right-hand side. Newcastle, probably a team that you know is going to be growing, whereas Chelsea's been a bit stagnated over the years. They kind of jump up and down. They have started to progress back up, but then again, they sacked the manager. It's just one of them ones where it just continues to be a bit of an uncertainty surrounding Chelsea. That's a fascinating one. Bayern, obviously didn't win anything last season. Still got unbelievable players like Harry Kane, but just brought Vincent Kompany, which is a weird appointment on top of that. It just still not that team that the ones were. Bayern. It might sound mental saying that, but Bayern is simply not the Bayern of old. So for Newcastle's case, if they've got any real chance against these teams, now is probably your best bet. I know we haven't got European football, but you have the promise to really say now that next season, listen, we're looking for Champions League football. We're looking to push ourselves in there. I think money talks of it. At least he wants to join Newcastle. We'll put a good contract for him. Wouldn't say never to this one, and I'm intrigued to see where this goes, because the fact that Newcastle's in there does make me excited, because again, we have money before we even sort anything, so that fascinates me, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And worst case scenario, let's say now at least he joins Chelsea, or at least he joins Bayern Munich. There's plenty more players out there, and Newcastle will go on for these top stars, and we'll try our best to get them in. You got to remember, we don't even have a director, so Amanda Murder has to do all this work by themselves, because Dan Ashworth's done off and been an absolute arsehole and went to some of our football teams and started spouting his mouth. So we don't have a director of football. Amanda Murder have got to do all the work, so let's appreciate it, let's respect it. So far, Lloyd Kelly has already signed, he is already through the door. James Trafford, as much as some fans don't want him, looks like he's going to happen and be our second sign if you don't class a Lewis Hall one. 3 if you do want to class him. And then after that, we're looking into the likes of Olise now, which is good. I'm looking forward to see what happens to this one. In terms of players that could go out the door, I hate to talk about these ITK accounts, but this article and this story quite fascinated me, and it got quite a lot of attention on social media, and it was the fact that it was believed that Kieran Trippier has actually put his house up for sale. So the house that he's currently living in now, he's put it up for sale while he's out, of course, at the Euros. And you're thinking, well, listen, the guy's selling his house now. It's not looking too great for him. However, please take my information now. My impression is, my belief is that it's been a bit of a confusion. So just to explain the situation, he has been reported by ITK accounts that Trippier's house is up for sale. My personal belief and impression is it's actually his neighbour's house. So basically, they've got the houses mixed up. Well, in this case, they believe that it's someone else's house, where it's actually not Kieran Trippier's house. So straight away, I wouldn't take that story at all with a pinch of salt. And even on top of that, let's just say now it was Kieran's house. It still doesn't guarantee that he would leave the club. Maybe he sold his house because he wants to move elsewhere. Now, unfortunately, a bit of speculation last season. It sounded like his house got robbed at one point, so maybe he just wanted to move to a different part of Newcastle because of the fact that he knew people were targeting where he lived. So that could have been a potential possibility. Maybe it's just a case that, obviously, without trying to speculate in his family life or anything like that, maybe something has happened and Kieran's now decided that he wants to move somewhere else in Newcastle. The point I'm making is it doesn't guarantee that if it was his house that he would be leaving the club in the first place. Especially now, I feel like the time's a bit weird, the fact that he is currently out of the national team. If Kieran was going to leave Newcastle, I would have thought he'd probably sort it all out when he gets back, because you never guarantee anything. What if he gets injured when he's out there? He would have to stay at Newcastle. So if he's banked on him leaving when he gets back and he's got injured when he was playing for England. He's just sold his house and everything's gone. So if I was in his position, I wouldn't have sold anything. I wouldn't have messed around any houses until he's back from the international tournament. Or maybe someone's been confirmed before. And the point is, they don't know, I don't know, you don't know. The point I wanted to make is that we don't know the answer to that question whether Trippier is going to leave or not. The fact he's selling his house does not confirm he's going out of the door. Maybe he just moved to a different area, or perhaps, in his case, maybe a nicer area to try and prevent himself from being targeted by unfortunate burglars out there, especially the fact they are going out of their way to target Newcastle players, target wealthy individuals. It might just be a safe option for him to make. So the point you should take away from that is not to believe the ITK accounts. And finally, in terms of transfer news in this video, one I like the look of is Tomori, the AC Milan centre-half. Now, this is a player that, of course, we had the pleasure of watching at St James's Park last season in the Champions League. What an immense performance he had. A quality signing if we were able to bring somebody his calibre in. The only problem is with a guy like Tomori is Newcastle, if you were to go out there and buy a player, he would be our key signing. So if we were to go out, splash all the money on a guy like Tomori, then that's our key signing done. No striker, no white winger. So straight away, I don't think it's a realistic one to make. There was a player that I was keen on. If you had a chance to actually watch the Tomb Reviews video, he basically asked YouTube channels for your dream summer windows. Now, Tomori was one of the signs that I picked straight away. I wedged him in, and I stuck with a full English transfer list, because I knew Eddie Howe would target a lot of English players in this window. So with Tomori, quality player, probably could get him around that £40 million mark, I would like to say, but it would require Newcastle to sell before we could get a player like him in. So maybe want to keep an eye on during the window. I do expect us to bring an R centre half in. You got to remember that we did attempt to get Lloyd Kelly and Tosin Adebayo both in on a free, so there were two defenders. I still stick Newcastle probably still going to bring two defenders in, despite the fact that, of course, we lost out on Tosin and knows we had to spend money. But eventually Newcastle need to replace Shaw anyway, because Shaw's in his middle 30s. And as mad as it sounds, he probably wouldn't get in Switzerland's starting 11. So the fact that he probably wouldn't even get in their starting 11 now, we've got to eventually start dropping Shaw down a little bit. We need someone ideally that can replace him. We know he's a player that can be sometimes niggling with injuries. So it makes sense for us as soon as possible to bring that new centre half in, and then we can actually have him and Botman, and what a pairing that would be. But in terms of Tomori, this one I think will spice up maybe about a month's time or so, once Newcastle have a chance to actually sell some players, and once we have the right winger sorted. I'm expecting us to get that position first. We still have to get the striker on top of that, and then I think we'll swoop back down to the centre half. And even if there's good money there, I think Newcastle as well as a club that doesn't necessarily have a transfer budget. Obviously on the FFP they only spend a certain amount, but it's more of a case that Newcastle, if they see a deal that is good for them and also worth their time, they'll buy the player in for that deal, rather than them going, well, you know what, there's £150 million, we're spending that and that only. It's more of a case that Newcastle have got a more flexible budget, where it's just a case where if Eddie Howe wants this player, we'll see what we can do. If we can bring them in, we'll bring them in. And it's more of a lenient budget for Eddie Howe, for the manager, for all the players just to work with. So in this case, I wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it'll happen yet. If a deal like that was to happen, it would be after we signed the attackers. But I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule that one out. And I would love to see Tomori at Newcastle. I'm telling you now, top player, so underrated. And I'm still surprised that he hasn't got in the team. He's definitely got to be just outside that England squad. He's such a good player. But that's about it in terms of transfer news. There's bits and bobs there. Obviously, some of it was from yesterday. I didn't have a chance to speak about everything, but still some fresh news there to take away from this video. And I'm hoping that you guys have enjoyed it. Of course, I'll be at Central Park tomorrow for the England game. Hoping the weather's like this, you know, nice and calm. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make sure we win it all. But listen, I wish you all the best. See you around. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Euros.